Okay, I got a 2011 Honda Odyssey. I'm having a lot of problems with the sliding doors. When they close, usually they don't close all the way. They get about half a foot away and then they back up. Of course it's working, so I've oiled the heck out of it, but for the last year it's been a problem, and actually I can probably show you on the other side. I started to replace the rollers here, and I found a problem, so I gotta probably continue this side another day. So you can actually see here, I took the the cover off the track here, so you can see the wire and the track. So let's see if this one closes. Probably won't. Of course it does. Anyway, I'm gonna try to replace the other side. See if that one works better, and maybe from what I learned on this side, maybe I can finish the other sides. Okay, so the first step is to take off this light, which actually, I saw in the older models, I think it was like 2005 to 2010, you had to take the light out. I'm not so sure that's the case here. These are the two screws that hold on this side panel. And then once the side panel is unscrewed, there's another screw up in here you gotta remove. And then the panel's just clipped on. I can show you on the other side. These are the holes for the clips. I actually just pulled the panel out and nothing broke. It actually looks like you can maybe pull the panel back and these clips kind of slide out. I don't know if you can see that. So I might try that this time. Otherwise, if you pull it straight out, the clips will probably survive. I mean, I have 6 clips on here and none of them broke. But I think I will take the light out, just give me a little more room to work. Okay, so to take the light out, use an 8mm socket or a Phillips screwdriver and remove these 2 screws. Okay, and then there's actually some clips in here on this side, so you kind of have to pull the light back to get them to unclip, and it does require a bit of force, so I'm gonna put the phone down to do this. Okay, so I just got it out. You can see here there's 2 pins that go into those 2 holes, and it definitely requires a bit of force, but I found one thing that really helped is you can kind of get your finger in here and pull really hard back, straight back, and then the light popped out. And if you want, you can just take the bulbs out and remove the whole assembly, but I'm gonna just leave it like that. Next are these. Looks like they use a Torx bit, and the size that I used on the other side was, well, it says T40. Okay. So actually getting it apart is quite easy. The other side, the part that should have been easiest was just taking the pin out, and the pin would not come out. I hammered it quite a bit. I was actually worried I was going to completely break it, leaving me without being able to use the car until I get the new part. So I decided to just stop, put it back together with the old pin and order the part. Of course, they don't have it in stock, so it's probably going to have to be something I finish up next weekend. And usually they reuse the pin, so they were, when I called the parts department, they were surprised that I couldn't. So I'm hoping on this side, hopefully this pin comes out and I can see a little bit maybe what was causing a problem on the other side. Okay, that's all set. So now there's only one more screw to remove, and for that you need a Phillips screwdriver. And the door needs to be opened. So the last one, probably can't see it, but it's right above the track. And there it is. So now the only thing holding this on is the clips. So last time I pulled it straight out, which worked, but it actually looks like it's meant to be pulled back maybe half an inch, quarter inch to half an inch. So I'm going to try that first. Yeah, and I don't I don't think that's going to work, but let me put the phone down and try it with two hands. So, yeah, none of the clips stayed on the back of this. So now this is what it looks like. The track and the wire and all the dirt, which I will clean up. And most of the clips are still here. And I saw a few fall on the ground, so I'll get those before they're lost. Okay, so I opened the door about halfway and put this bucket under to support the door. You know, there is still an arm here supporting the door, and there's one up top, which those I'm going to leave attached. But what I'm going to disconnect is this one here, which pretty much holds the weight of the entire back half of the door, so I want to make sure there's something there so that I don't damage the other hinges. And to remove this, you simply just remove these two bolts with a number 12 millimeter. Okay, there's one and two. So I'm gonna get a piece of cardboard here to protect the paint. And once I get the cardboard in place, I'm going to actually hit the open button to get the pulley to come back. You know, probably about a foot, so I can work over here with it. Alright, so that didn't go very far. I guess the alternative is I can slide the door a little bit forward. Okay, so now I have plenty of space. Okay, so I can tell right away what the problem is. This is a hinge. This piece is connected to the door and it's supposed to swivel like a door hinge, and I'm applying a tremendous force. I mean, I say tremendous, it's probably about 20 pounds of pressure, and it barely moves. I mean, this thing is just seized up. So that's why the door goes open and closed straight without a problem, but when it has to make the turn, it can't. So to get this off, it's fairly easy. You actually, look at this cardboard a little better. Kind of take the bottom out first. There you go, and then the top comes right out. So the rollers, like the other side, are actually in pretty good shape. The problem is the hinge. And when I bought the part at Honda, they gave me this piece, which is the rollers, this arm, you know, the spring and stuff, but they want me to reuse this piece and the pin. And on the other side, that pin would not come out. I mean, it would come out maybe quarter inch to half inch, and then it wouldn't go any further. And what it kind of looked like is that underneath this spring, it kind of looked like a bushing going over the pin. and the bushing had rusted to the pin. So the pin diameter inside of here is quite a bit thicker, so of course I can only push the pin so far before the bushing hits this, and then that's it. It doesn't go any further. So I'm gonna see if this one's any different. In order to get this off, these cables have to be removed, and the way you do that is you twist it like that, and then you can pull it down to come out. And then once one's out, the other one comes out much easier once the tension's removed. So I'm gonna do that. Okay, success. Here's the part. Now, it should be as simple as removing this E-clip and then using a hammer to pound the pin out. Okay, so the clip came out very, very easily. And this, you will always need a hammer because there is, I don't know what the right word is, but there's like almost like teeth or to help this part of the pin stay in. So even if you lost the clip, this pin would stay in, I think, for a while before it falls out. So anyway, I'm gonna put this somewhere. Okay, so bad news. Same problem on this side. I can get the pin to only go out a little bit. It actually will go out a little bit more than this, but then it stops. And there's definitely something on the pin that's making it so the pin is too wide to get out on this side. So I took the new one apart just to see what could possibly be doing this. And I mean, this one, same setup, has this plastic piece here. That's definitely not the problem. And then it goes through the spring. So, it shouldn't be getting stuck. But what I'm realizing is that on the new one, there's this piece here. It's a metal kind of insert, which is where the pin goes through. And on this one, you can't really see it, but in between there, that's the insert. And then on the other side, there should be a piece protruding like that. And there isn't. Instead, there's a round piece of metal that's this size that's rusted onto the pin and separated from this side. So that's why I can't get these pins out. So it actually might be possible to save them. I was considering taking a blowtorch to it. The only reason I probably don't want to is this plastic's going to get pretty nasty. But actually, that may not be a bad idea. If I get the plastic off, I can slide the spring down and then try to maybe cut that a bit with a Dremel, and then I might be able to get the old piece off. Or actually, once this is off, I can just attack it with the torch. So I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to try to remove this piece. In worst case, this will probably still be usable, for another week until the rest of the parts come. But I think I'm going to give it a try. Okay, so managed to cut the plastic piece off with the Dremel, and this is what I found. Kind of what I thought. This side looks okay. You can kind of see that bushing, which is attached on the other side here. And then on this side, there's no bushing attached there. It's frozen onto the hinge, and it broke off on the top. So what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to cut it with the Dremel on one side, and then take a blowtorch to it, and then try to get it off. So quick update, blowtorch really didn't do much. I did get the spring off, and you can see the piece a lot better now, which is why this won't come out. Now I am slowly cutting it with the Dremel this way, and once I get all the way through that bushing, then I'm going to try tapping it with a screwdriver and using pliers, seeing if I can somehow free this piece from here. And then once I get it off, I'll just take the Dremel and kind of smooth out the hinge a bit, because I am scuffing it up a bit. So hopefully that works. If it doesn't, I might have a car without a door soon. Okay, that actually worked pretty well. I cut right through. I was unable to get in there with a screwdriver like this and just twist it. And now the band is coming off. There. So you can see I did scuff up the hinge a little bit, so I'll polish that up a little bit and put it on the new assembly and put it back in the car. See how it works. Okay, so it's all back together again. Hinge moves quite easily, so this should solve the problems. I'm just gonna attach this to the door. Actually, I'll probably do the cables first, then attach it to the door, and then try it out. Okay, time to see if it works. Got it back in the tracks. It's in the cable guide. There is the new piece and the reused piece, and everything looks like it's ready to go. Looks good. Perfect. So I'll put this side back together and on to the next side. Okay, so both sides are done now. It was the exact same problem on this side with the hinge. So I guess what I'd recommend is, if you are having problems with the door closing the last foot or so, it's probably a bad hinge. And Honda usually only sells the part with the rollers on it. And for a lot of people, that's, I guess, the problem. But for me, both hinges were almost frozen from rust, and they didn't really pivot very well at all. Oddly enough, when I was banging at the pin to try to get it out, so much rust fell off that the hinges actually started working pretty well, and probably could have been put back on and used for a period of time without issue. So if I were to do this again, I would definitely get the other half of the hinge that goes on the door. It's sold separately. That way too, you kind of guaranteed that you probably won't have to do this again. I mean, this car has 125,000 miles on it. It's about 7 years old. I'm probably not going to have this car in 7 years, but hopefully the work I did today will be enough to get it to 200,000, and by then I hope to have a new car. So I hope this was helpful, and that's it. Thank you.